Jason Gosser, the #1 loan officer at Guild for like a decade, a guy that I've been clawing and scraping after to try to beat, and years I just gave up. Okay, so Jace, you reached out to me last night and said, great reverse mortgage post. Can I steal it? I'm like, yeah, rip off and duplicate. That's what we do around here. And then I said, how's it going for you? Because we acquired a company that's a top 5 company in the reverse mortgage space. You and I have both been doing this a couple decades, never been originating this. We were on the first pilot call together to learn about it. And I didn't immediately get going with it. It's taken me a little bit, but now I can't sleep. It's everything I'm thinking about. Opportunity is everywhere. And you seem, of course, to have already gotten more success than me going. So I just wanted to hear your story about, how it's percolated for you, how you're taking it on, and what's worked.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to be on the call here. First off, the first reverse I got came across, I think it was an in the money lead. Somehow I was notified by my team, hey, we got a reverse. I'm thinking, okay, cool. Didn't get too excited because, of course, when they announced the reverse, I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. And I'm really a slow incubator anyways. I kind of process things a little bit differently than some. And then it took a few, well, first off, we got this one going. I was on the call with Steve, going through the process as far as kind of learning about the program while working on one, which is really kind of my superpower, because I hate learning unless I'm like literally learning on a real deal. Cause it's like, it seems like
learn and earn at the same time.
There you go. So love to learn and earn. And so got on the call with Steve. I'm listening, totally felt like a fish out of water. And then it kind of started to process it. We got it going, started working with Michelle, and did the final closing call. Everything went great. Of course, got the paycheck, and I'm like, this is the most money I've made on a loan in a long time. So that of course excited me. And like we talked earlier, being the, kind of the sole provider for my team and just having to, scrap and claw for every deal right now, whether you're making money on it or not. Every transaction right now, I mean, we're doing a lot, reduced comp, we're doing a lot for free, but I know there are refinances in the future. So when I got compensated, I was like, wow, this is great. And not only that, hold on a second, it's going to get loud back here. I got some boats in the background. Okay. Sorry. Out on the deck. And but when I started looking into it and started learning more about it and having conversations with my clients, I started realizing that there's a big need right now, and it's a really, really kind of a deep rooted need. I mean, doing loans for people to get in, like first time home buyers, that's great. That's a need. But this need is kind of is raw. It's like, it's an emotional need. It's people that are struggling right now. Inflation is, really high. I mean, you could go to dinner right now with your family and it's a $200 bill, $225 bill. And you haven't really done anything special, and cost of food and grocery stores, all of this. And kind of living in my little bubble, not realizing how many people have been impacted. And so just having these conversations with people and realizing, what a need this is. And so that got me excited. That's what really, the comp was great, but really what got me excited was at this point in my career, 30 years doing this, it just kind of, it helped scratch that itch, like just doing something that was more than just what I've been doing for 30 years, loan. Great. You did this many, like you're actually having conversations, and you got to be a lot more involved in these than your other loans too. So you gotta, you're communicating with the people, you're taking them through all of the counseling. I had them on the call with Steve. You're learning about their lives. You're learning about how it's impacting them. So that's what really kind of grabbed my heartstrings. And that's what kind of made me take a deeper dive. And then I had a call from a real estate agent who happens to be a really good buddy of mine. And he and I just lost a really good friend of ours. He passed away. It's been 10 months now, but feels like it was just yesterday. And so we've just, kind of that whole thing. He calls me. He's got a friend that has got stage 4 cancer, been battling it for 10 years. And he asked me, hey, here's their situation. They got a house worth $1 million. They have 0 mortgage on it. They don't really have a lot of income coming in, and it doesn't look like he's got a lot of time to live. And immediately I thought, oh, great. I just had this one deal that I'm working through right now. This sounds like this is going to be maybe a perfect fit. Started doing some research. I told him right then on the phone, I was on vacation when we were chatting about it. So I said, hey, let me do some research. I'll get back to you. Hung up the phone. And of course I was like thinking, oh my God, this could be perfect. Did some phone calls to my team, realized this was going to be perfect, presented it. And we got a closing in about a couple of days. That literally they're going to have a line of credit of about $333,000. And here's what's cool. You look at the credit report, they were struggling on their bills, their taxes. They had just bought this house like a year and a half ago. They hadn't paid any taxes yet. So they were delinquent on their taxes. So there was so much struggle here that you could just see in the file. And, you know, of course, from the line of credit, we're requiring them to set aside, I think it's like 40 grand for taxes and insurance. They don't care. She's getting $260,000 that they are actually to be able to access. They're going to do some home improvements. And then of course, you know, they have the rest of the money for any medical bills and things like that. So,
they'll never have a payment. They'll
never have a payment. He doesn't, you know, he can, he's, obviously go through what he's going to go through, not necessarily having to have the additional burden of knowing his wife's going to struggle. So I know that you start thinking about what that kind of stuff goes. And like I was saying earlier, being 52 and, I had my big event 4 years ago and,
heart attack.
Heart attack. You start thinking about things and what that looks like and, have been in that position 4 years ago. And then you start looking at, how this is impacting them. You're just really like thrust right into their life and you get to the root of like, the pain, the pain points, the stress, all of it. And it could be, it could be emotional, but really the reward is just huge. So that was the second one that's closing and that was big. And then since then we've just kind of really upped our marketing. I think I got two more.
Yeah. You put a Facebook post out there about the myths of the HECM and you got a couple more leads. And this is what happens. This is what's happening for me is all of a sudden you see opportunity everywhere, right? It's like I'm sitting on the airplane with somebody. Well, if you're 40, you've got a parent who's probably 60, 70. If you're sitting with somebody who's 55, they might have a parent that's 75, 80. And all of a sudden we start thinking about our parents and what does it look like for them? And are they on a fixed income and blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you the 5 things that I'm really excited about. Number 1, this is not market dependent on inventory. So if you are a go-getter and you really, really have a heart to serve people, and I know you do, Jason, it's why you do thousands of loans, but we are like so fired up because it's like, I have something that could really make a difference. And it doesn't matter if a realtor gets involved or if it's inventory related, I can control my own destiny and how many conversations I'm having. Number 2, it's not rate dependent because it's really about lifestyle. Does this fit their lifestyle goals? Do they have a medical issue? Do they have a debt issue? Do they just want to relieve a burden of having to work so hard and, have the option of making payments or not? 10,000 people a day turn 65 years old, 10,000 a day. And people have more equity than they've ever had in their life. And the best thing, and I think why you and I are really going for this too, Jason, after a couple decades of never wanting to touch these, I've never wanted to ruin my reputation by doing a one-off 203K or a one-off reverse, right? Because I have to save everybody. I wanted to know what I'm good at, stay in my lane, kick butt, and refer those out. And I think, Jason, what's so cool about what we've done with Guild and in acquiring the Cherry Creek reverse department is we literally going to get to work with the deal desk with the experts and we get to turn over the loan and we're still getting a great compensation and we don't have to do the loan paperwork or the disclosures or any of that stuff. And we could stay at that level forever. If we want to become experts on the whole process and run the whole loan, you just double your income ability on those loans. But like for you and I that love to use our mouths and talk to people and imagine ways that we can grow our teams. And it's like freaking exciting. So
totally.
We've caught the bug.
Yeah, I totally. I think you said it best. Like when we were talking earlier, like right now, trying to recreate myself a little bit because the market is, I mean, I think by now I would have expected it to kind of bounce back a little bit more, and it's not. So to me, this is an incredible opportunity that's been presented to actually kind of create my own market. You just got to start talking about it. And I think as you start bringing it into conversations with people, and then what I'm finding too is if you start like the conversation I had with some people yesterday that they don't qualify because they just took out a $40,000 HELOC to do some home improvement. So we kind of talked about that, but they're going to have a friend of theirs call me who's got a place, that's worth about $1 million and doesn't have any kids. And he just wants to use his equity to travel. Right. And so he's going to call me. So if you just talk to people and ask people, hey, if this doesn't work for you now, or if you can't do it or for whatever reason, or don't want to do it, do you know anybody that would just like to hear more about the program? And I'm really coming at it from an educational standpoint. And I just let people know right away, because first off, the reverse mortgage does have that negative connotation. I mean, I'm finding that to be 99 times out of 100. I got to fight through that. We don't, when we make our calls, we mention, the HECM, but, people do their research. They come back and they're like, is this a reverse mortgage? And you're like, well, yeah. So be careful with that, because you don't want to come across as, selling them something that like you're trying to dodge it. But at the same time, I think I just let them know, hey, they've revamped the program. And I thought the same thing you thought. That's why I did my research. I educated myself, and that's why I'm so gung-ho on it. And that's why I pulled up the 10 myths about the HECM and posted them, is because literally they're pretty significant myths. I mean, the myth, people are 5 times out of 10, the people are like, well, my son said that if I do this, that the house goes to the bank. Like that is like, and I'm like, and I tell them, it's like, I got to admit, I thought the same thing when I first heard about the program years ago. So,
we'll share your post, Jason. And I'm just inspired by the way that we collaborate and the fact that you texted me last night. And I'm like, I want to get this dude's enthusiasm on the camera, because we always inspire each other. Every time we're around, we just tune each other up, and you're just getting me going. So thank you for jumping on with me.
No problem. We need some enthusiasm in this market, and this is a great product for it. So
yeah,
I'm jazzed up.
Absolutely. It's like game on, guys. Let's just get after it.